When I graduated from San Jose State in 2022, I had zero intentions to become a teacher. You see, I had spent those 2 years because I transferred from Los Medanos College in Pittsburgh. I spent 2 years of my bachelor's degree just reading, and writing. I love writing essays to a degree, like the appeal of forming an argument and sticking with it and trying to find support and producing a paper that I can call my own. Like, that's super satisfying. That's something that I enjoy doing. That's partly why I love creative writing. It became exhausting after writing so many. It got to a point where I was writing probably 2 to 3 essays a month. I read 15 to 16 books in one semester alone. And it was so overwhelming because every single one of those stories were depressing. But once I graduated, I felt like I was done. I was done sitting behind the desk and writing out all of this stuff. Finally, I can move on to something else. Little did I realize that I was going to be sitting behind a teacher's desk for the rest of my life. Not the rest of my life. We'll see. But I didn't expect to want this job or to be willing to go to credential school for this. And let me tell you a few reasons why. Since August of 2022, I've been working for my local school district, first as a substitute and now officially as a high school English teacher. It all started when I just needed a job to get money while I was looking for jobs in publishing because I wanted to work with books. Despite all of the books that I had to read, I still wanted to work with literature. That was my goal. But then, working as a substitute and constantly going to the high schools, because I figured they were going to be better behaved, and going back to my high school, it caught the attention of the district, especially because I had a bachelor's degree in English. They asked me to fill in as a long-term substitute because there was a teacher on maternity leave. And so I was just wondering, am I even going to be a good fit for this position? I don't have experience as a teacher. But they appealed to that interest in reading and writing, and they talked to me about it, and ultimately I decided, yes, I'll stick with it. So I was a long-term sub for an entire year, and in that year I got to know so many students, and I still remember their full names. I remember things about them. So many of them opened themselves up to me and shared things about their lives with me, and that's why I've decided to go to credential school, and that's why I've decided to pursue this career as a teacher, because it's definitely not for the pay. Through this job, I've been able to communicate with so many people and learn things about them and see things with a completely new perspective. Because as I would read stories from all these different people from all around the world. I would read for empathy, focusing on how can I learn from their perspective. And by talking to all of these students and having them come to my classroom before school because they just need a room to hang out in, to having 20, 30 students in my classroom during lunch that some of them I don't even know, most of them I don't even know. They just came to my classroom because I provided a calming, relaxing environment where they could all be comfortable and just talk to each other. I had some amazing teachers back then that I want to pay homage to now as a new teacher in 2023. One of the best characteristics that I've found in teachers is when the teacher treats the student like an equal in all things discussions, except for, of course, in disciplinary issues. Within my capacity as a teacher, I try to prioritize the student's voice. Often parents, siblings, students, whoever, you'll ask them a question and ask them their thoughts on something that I don't know, I didn't like it. Why? I don't know. And that is the least engaging conversation anyone can ever have. And conversation is one of my favorite things. I love hearing other people's opinions. I want to know what they think. And so with the students, I don't want them to come into the classroom with an attitude like that. And often it might be because they think that no one will listen to their thoughts. Many of them bottle things up, especially within that age of freshmen and sophomores. And so all of my lessons, all of the things that I do are tailored to honing in on your voice and figuring out what you want and what you like and how to express that to other people, both on paper and in vocal form. Students often disrespect each other. And within my classroom, I had them create class rules. I'm paid to deal with any forms of disrespect. That's my job. It's my job to be able to handle it and de-escalate. But with other students, they're not paid to do that. They're genuinely just trying to share their thoughts. And if other people are being disruptive, I'm trying to make sure that they're being heard. And they should be heard by each other. A good teacher, to me, encourages those thoughts, whether or not I agree or disagree. When I was a high school student, one of my favorite teachers of all time, he was an amazing teacher. He said something that resonated with me in a bad way. And that's because a new movie came out. And I was excited for that movie. I saw it and I liked it. When I was sharing my opinions, instead of him meeting me where I was, instead of listening to me, he completely cut off my thoughts and just said something along the lines of, I realize I'm talking to people that don't understand what they're saying. And that just felt so messed up. If students have their thoughts on things, if they want to share their opinions, I want to hear it. And I don't want to just shut them down like they don't know anything. They might act like they know everything because they're freshmen and sophomores. But the reality is that they're brave enough to say their thoughts. They should at least feel heard, both by me and the students within the classroom. That's what a good teacher is to me. The moral purpose of education within my English classroom is to help students be who they want to be by getting them to make opinions on things and to support their opinions with evidence. I want to make sure that my students feel heard and that they feel like they can use their voice. Last year, I had a senior that told me after class that she is afraid to speak in front of the class. She gets really anxious. And by the end of the school year, she was one of the most opinionated, maybe to a detriment, one of the most opinionated students I have ever met. And I was very proud of her by the time that she graduated. I was very proud of all of my seniors when they graduated. And it's because I was working with them on figuring out what they wanted to do, where they wanted to graduate from in the future, and helping them hone in on their voice and how they can sound the best that they can. And so with my freshmen and sophomores, I have to lay the groundwork. And so the moral purpose of education is to find where are their gaps in knowledge and just filling them in with how can you buttress your ideas that you already have. They have opinions, they just need to say them. And it's my job to get them to speak. All right, that was my interactive journal. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a wonderful day.